Let's see what's going on. What's going on, everybody? What's going on? Give me 1 second to get set up. Uh, uh, Angie Bar, what's going on? Brian Stowe, what's up? What's going on? What's going on? Hold up 1 second. Absolute domination. That is correct. That is correct. Let's see. Apex Prowler, what's going on, man? What's going on? Yeah, no, that was a great game. That was a great game from start to finish. I'm a little bit surprised with the way that things played out, but I am very happy with the outcome. Very happy with the outcome. See, give me 1 second right now. Right, good to see you up and running. By the way, Vidal looked good. Yeah, he did look good. Brian Stowe both up. We look way different with Joe Alt on the field. We did. Um, I don't think it's all Joe Alt though, because the run game, the run game hasn't really been consistent all season long, even with Joe Alt on the field. Um, in particular, like the first 2 weeks, the run game didn't look like it did today. Um, and I'm gonna just come out and be honest. Like, and you guys know that I never really get on like individual players. Like I don't. That's not my thing. I don't really come on here and bash players. That's not my thing. But and I tweeted this during the game that was the last time. Today was the last time that I wanted to see Mekhi Becton in a Charger uniform. I think Mekhi Becton is very trash. Very trash. Apex Prowler, online play well. Salute. Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. Appreciate that super chat. Thank you. Um, Foster Searle looked good too. Yes. Mekhi Becton is that was the worst free agent signing. I don't care. You go through any of the other teams. If any other teams fans disagree with me, I don't care. Mekhi Becton was the worst free agency signing this period. And probably one of the worst in Charger history. This guy is completely, for as big as he is, he's soft. He has a soft mentality, extremely soft mentality. When things get hard, he's out. This is and he didn't return to the game because of his knee, whatever. But this is the seventh game of the season. Right? No, this was the eighth game of the season. Sorry. So how many times have we seen him laid out on the field because he hurt something? At least 4 or 5 games, more than half of the season, we have seen him complaining about some type of injury and all this stuff. He's not a good player. He hasn't been a good player. He tricked the Chargers in free agency. It's just a 1 year deal for like what, 8 or 9 million or something like that. But he's still in that $8 or 9 million from the Chargers. That was awful. That was awful. The Chargers, everything completely changed when he went out. You notice when they tried to run the ball, they got nothing. Everything is just, there's no holes. Everything is crowded. Everything is just completely compact. The second he goes out, Foster Searle, who is a tackle, right? He was like a swing tackle for us, a couple of years ago, I believe, right? Practice squad guy, whatever. He comes in, takes his place, and immediately the run game gets better. Immediately, immediately gets better. Mekhi Becton he was a bust. He was a first round pick. He's always had the talent. He's had the physical talent, but mentally he is weak. This guy, we need him off of our the moment he's off of our team, the moment he's off this roster, is the moment that this roster gets better. It is addition by subtraction. This dude is soft. He's completely soft. I don't ever want to see him in the Charger uniform again. Trash, complete trash. How can you be the guard on a Super Bowl winning team last year? You come in this year, you go down, a journeyman backup tackle comes in and takes your place and just completely opens up the run game. How, what are we doing? Like, what are we doing? Yes, we got to give Joe Ortiz credit for the fines in the draft and all that stuff. Oronde Gadsden being one of them. Gadsden's going to be our Travis Kelce. Gadsden is tight end one, bar none, without a doubt. The dude he's completely changed the offense. The middle of the field, Herbert having that option in the middle of the field, you can't put two on Keenan. You can't put two on McConkey. You got to lock in on Gadsden as well too, and that he occupies the safeties. He keeps the safeties busy, especially when the scramble drill is happening and stuff. Him and Herbert, they got a lot of chemistry already. But yeah, you got to give him credit for that. Gadsden, definitely our number one. Becton, trash. Absolute trash, man. Absolute trash. Just complete garbage. Complete garbage. Sarah fixes the interior. And what? How, how did we go this long without knowing this? Like, this is where I have to get on Jim Harbaugh. Like, how do we? There have been some mistakes that he has made coaching wise. Like the personnel. Gadsden was not the as talented as we have seen Gadsden be. Right? He didn't just wake up and start doing this a couple of weeks ago. He's been this. He's been this since he landed in L.A. Rookie minicamp, training camp, all that stuff. He's been doing this. He was not the starting tight end. He wasn't the starting tight end opening day, which obviously we see this kid should have been out on the field since game one. Game one, week one, play one, he should have been out on the field. That is a mistake. That's a huge mistake that the coaching staff has to own, particularly Jim Harbaugh. But the same thing here. How can things get better when Becton is out of the game? Like, this is a guy that you signed. Like, he's a free agent that you signed. He's somebody who you automatically worked into the offensive line. He hasn't been doing his job. His PFF ratings, if that means anything to you, have been low. When you watch him on tape, he looked very slow. And the one thing that I think has improved the run game with him going out is Foster Sarrell noticed, and I intentionally, because I seen it as soon, and I tweeted that too as well too. Like the run game started to open up as soon as he went out and as soon as Sarrell came in, right? So I intentionally, very intentionally, in the third and fourth quarter, the second half of the game, I intentionally watched Sarrell on every snap, particularly like the running plays. I wanted to see what he was able to do. He was able to get up to the second level. When you have linemen who are very nimble on their feet and they're able to get up to the second level, engage the linebackers, that leaves space for the running backs. And they just need a little bit of space. Vidal's not a big guy. He just needs a little bit of space. It leaves space for him if there is something going on the left side of the field, then he can bounce it out. If they come up and they overrun him on the right side, then he can bounce to the left side, get upfield. But either way, he has a two-way go to get upfield when your lineman gets upfield. Mekhi Becton is so damn big. He's big. He needs to lose weight. He's like 6'8", almost 370. That's way, he's overweight. He's overweight at this point. He's overweight to the point where he can't move. And unless he tore his ACL or something, which I don't know. We don't have an update on that. But unless he tore his ACL, like, it didn't seem like his injury was that serious. But when you weigh that much, it's hard. It's hard on your joints. All that pressure on your knees, it's hard. Very hard. It's a scientific fact that for every pound you lose, you alleviate 4 pounds of pressure off of your knees. So think about it. This guy is 370 pounds, right? If he was to lose 10 pounds, that's 40 pounds of pressure off of his knees, right? And that's just him losing 10 pounds, and you can do the math, so on and so forth. But he's too big. He's too big, and by too big, I mean he's overweight. The dude is he's massive, and he can't move, and he can't get up to the second level. You can't run behind him because there's no space. He cannot get up to the second level. If somebody's in his way, he cannot push them out of the way, get up to the second level, engage the linebacker, and leave some space for the run. He can't do it. He just can't do it. And we've seen that tonight. We've seen it, and you have a guy, a backup, excuse me, you have a backup coming in, doing a better job than he has done. And again, Cyril is not even a guard. He's a tackle. He's a tackle, but he got in there and did what he was supposed to do. So that should tell us all. That should tell us all. Becton, he's got to go. And honestly, I think he has been what's been holding up this line. Because how does this run game go from looking how it did against the Colts, which, you know, their front seven is nothing to write home about outside of Armstead. They have really nobody to write home about. How does it go from looking like that to this in 4 days? You have to look at the common denominator. So again, this was an eye-opening win for me, at least. I do not want to see Becton out on the field anymore. And if the Chargers, if they evaluate this the way that we think that they should, and if they have integrity, and if they want to continue to win, we got to remove this guy. He's got to be a backup. He cannot start these games anymore. If somebody gets hurt, maybe. But even then, at some point, he's just too big. He has to lose weight. 370 pounds is way too much. That is way too much. That's way too much to play in the NFL. That's way too much for even a defensive tackle. Like, you can't move around at that weight. Like, there's no way you can move around, especially for 17 games. You move around at that weight. And Becton he's a guy that struggled with his weight too. He was overweight in New York, and he looks the same weight now. So I don't know what they're allowing him to be at, what weight they're allowing him to be at, but 370 is a little bit too much. That's a little bit too much, especially to not have good technique either, which he doesn't. He's never been a technique guy. He doesn't do anything particularly well. Like, he's not a road grader in run blocking. You can't really run behind him, and he's not going to just run guys over because he's not athletic enough for that. Pass protection, he's not that great either. He doesn't do anything very well. So, like, what are we doing? What are we doing having him on the field? So that was a very, very, very surprising eye-opener for me as I watched the second half, as I watched 67 get up and engage linebackers. Get off a block, engage on the line, get up to the second level. Engage on the line, get up to the second level. And doing it both ways, too. And that's why I wanted to just give the credit to Joe Alt, him being back, but they were running it the opposite way. They were running it away from Joe Alt, where he wasn't, like, actively engaged in some of these plays. So they started to open my eyes. They're 67. He's up there. He's on linebackers. He's on linebackers. He's on linebackers. What was it, 3rd and 14 or whatever? They end up running it for like 16, 17 yards, getting the first down on 3rd down. Running it on, that's something, like, come on. The way that we looked on Sunday, you would not have expected that. Nobody would have expected that. But yeah, no, they did what they were supposed to do tonight. They beat a team who is beat up themselves as well too. Carson Wentz, I don't know if he has. I think he thinks a lot more of himself than what he is, because why would he go out and play in the manner that he was in physically? He was, every time he was falling to the ground, he was in pain. Like, dude, just go sit down. Like, you're fine. Nobody thinks that you're a star anymore. Go sit down. Just go sit down. Please, just go sit down. Yeah. So it was not a good game for him, and I'm shocked. I'm honestly shocked that Kevin O'Connell went out with him. That shows how much faith he had in his backup, the kid who played number 12. I can't remember what his name was, but I know he didn't have a lot of confidence in him, because to throw Carson Wentz out there at 50, 60%, where he's not able to do anything, and he's taking all these hits, and he's laying on the ground like he just got ran over by a train every time he got hit. Like, I don't know. Like, it was not, that wasn't good. And when I seen that in the first quarter, I was like, okay, I don't think that this, if the Chargers are going to lose, is going to be because of turnovers, and the defense is going to be getting to Herbert, and they're going to be creating pressure, because there is no, it doesn't matter how good your defense is, if you have your quarterback out there who is completely just strung like that. He's hamstrung and you can't do anything and he's hurting and he's visibly hurting and he's showing that he's hurting. Like you can't there's no defense that's good enough that's going to be able to go out there and produce. Like your defense is not going to produce points. You can hold teams to as little bit of points and yards as you want to, but at some point you're going to have to score points. And the Vikings, they were in no position to score any points tonight with the way that Carson Wentz looked. That was like shocking to me. That was shocking how he looked. I was very I was confused. I was confused at why he was playing. Like he just kept grabbing his left arm and grabbing his left arm, and that thing was he had so much tape and he had a whole little apparatus on it and all this. Like, bro, just go sit down. Like you have no, they had no shot tonight. They had absolutely no shot. So, I mean, we'll take the win. It's not we didn't play any like the Vikings in this state are not good, right? Any team in this state is not good if your quarterback is just physically unable to compete. So yeah, we took advantage, and we were able to get lucky that they were as beat up as they were because we didn't play. We played good. We didn't play like super. I don't want to say super well outside of like the run game and stuff. The defense obviously came out. They set the tone first. We got lucky with that interception in the first quarter. That was it looked like it was going to be a pick six, but that was a right call. The ball was moving around, and by the letter of the law, you can't have the ball move around when you catch it. You got to catch it, and you got to put that thing away. So it was moving around, and yeah, it wasn't good. It wasn't. it it just wasn't good for them. It wasn't good for the Vikings. Again, but nobody when we're injured, nobody feels sorry for us. So I don't feel sorry for them. They got to go out there. They got to play a game, and it is what it is, and they can say whatever they want to say. And if they were healthy, it's going to be a different story. But they weren't healthy, so it goes down in the history books as a win for us, a loss for them. So yeah. Chargers have the skill positions locked in my opinion. Just need to fix the O line. Yeah, I agree with that. I agree. Because skill position wise, you have everything that you need out there. Like, especially if we're talking about Omarion Hampton coming back. If he's coming back from whatever he has, right? If he's able to come back this year, then you have a legitimate number one running back. You have wide receivers out there. You got Keenan Allen, great on third down. You got Ladd McConkey, who he hasn't played as well as he did last year, but he's still definitely a threat. Again on third down as well too. Then you have Trey Harris. And I talked about him. I think last week in the video that I did. He's starting to come up. Trey Harris is starting to come up. He's starting to make plays. Seems to be really into blocking. He's completely committed to blocking and doing what he has to do on that front. He comes out, he catches his first touchdown pass today. He looks good. He looks good, and this is not surprising. He played last year in the SEC. He played a lot of NFL caliber talent. So again, he's ready to go. But yeah, they got plenty of weapons, and then we have a tight end one now. So the weapons are there. O-line, yeah, that's definitely something that is still gonna be a question throughout the season. But if had that have been taken care of, I would think that we would have a more legitimate chance to compete. But yeah, Gatson is looking promising. Is Vidal really coming up? He has always been average at best. I don't know, man. I don't think he is. I don't think he's that great, but he's got the running back type of body. He's short. He's low center of gravity. He doesn't have a whole lot of like wiggle. He doesn't have a lot of that shake and bake stuff. But again, like I mentioned before, when you run the ball, right, and when you have your guards, when you have your center, when you have the interior of your line that's able to get up to the second level, that's going to leave a little bit of space for the running back to do their thing. And if they get a running start and they're able to do their thing and they're able to have a two-way go left, go right, read whatever the defense is in, read how the linebackers and safeties, if they're going to overplay him to one side or the other, give a little move and go through one side, right? if they have space to do that, Vidal can do that. Now, if you just pitch it to him and he's got a bunch of guys that are coming up to him, he's not going to be able to get away from that. He's not like super speedy or anything like that, but he's good enough if the offensive line does their job and if they are able to just do a decent enough job blocking, he can get you yards and he can break some tackles. We seen that tonight. He broke a bunch of tackles. He's short. He's low to the ground, so he has a lot of leverage. And guys that are coming to arm tackle him, it's not easy. Not easy to do that to a guy who's that short, who's already that low to the ground. He has a strong base. His legs are strong, so. I don't know. I don't think it's I don't think he's great, but he can get the job done. And he's got 100-yard games 2 of the last 3 games. So in the NFL, it's just about production, right? So he's producing, and that's a positive thing for the Chargers going forward is having a guy like that, bringing him up from the practice squad, him being able to produce, especially once Hampton gets back, that you can be comfortable with Vidal in that number 2 role because he's produced in this number 1 role. So I like what they were able to do. I also like the Patterson. I think he looked very good tonight too in the few carries that he had. He was he's a lot more explosive than Vidal is. So maybe they there's a game where he gets more carries than Vidal, but he looks a little bit more explosive when he was running the ball. Like his speed towards the line of scrimmage, his ability to read a hole and get through it. He looked a lot faster, a lot more quicker than Vidal did. So if we don't have Hampton for a good portion of the time, if there's more time for him to heal, if he's not coming back for I don't know the foreseeable future, next 5 or 6 weeks or whatever. If these are the 2 guys that you have, then they're the guys that you have. Now you want to make sure that you're doing all that you can up front. If you're doing all that you can up front, O-line, these guys are going to be able to get some yards, and we seen that tonight. But it's about being consistent up front, and Becton not being a part of that, I think, is a big thing. I do. I think it's a good thing that we were able to see. We got to get this guy out of here, man. We got to get him out of here. He's just not a great player, and he's not at a place right now. Becton, he's not at a place right now where he can be a starting offensive lineman, and he's had his opportunity and stuff, but it's done. Like it's done. It is what it is. He's at a point right now where he's got to make a decision in his career because there's nowhere else he can go where he can play like this. He can't go anywhere else where he can play like this, where he can be this much of a liability on the offensive line, where he can take up this much space, being overweight, not producing, and not doing anything well. You can't run behind him. He can't go anywhere and play like this. So he's gonna have to make a decision. He's gonna have to probably lose some weight if he wants to continue his career, because there's no way that a team is going to invest it really any money in a guy who is this big, this overweight, with having joint issues now. He's now with the knee and all this stuff. He's on the field, laying on the field, getting hurt every game. Like, he's having issues. And I'm sure the weight has something to do with it. I'm certain that it does. Vikings coach let Wentz take a beating. They did. Unnecessarily, too. Like, I think probably at halftime, they probably could have went with the backup, but I don't think they believe in him, so they just let him go out there. Trey Solid, KLX need to get right, putting up astronomical numbers. Yeah, if Lambert Smith can get a part of the equation out there, because he's a guy that has straight line speed. He can get behind defenses. If they have some packages for him, yeah, I would definitely love to see that. But I think it's just trying to keep our heads above water at this point. That's what the offense has been trying to do. Just keep their heads above water, not being able to run the ball consistently, not being able to protect consistently. So if they're able to find something with the offensive line, if they're able to find something at guard, because you see with Zion Johnson, and I suspected it too, Zion Johnson played pretty well. He played well tonight, but I knew that, okay, this is something up front is something up front is holding this line back from even being decent. Not just being good, but being decent. And the combination of Bozeman and Becton, both of those guys, far, far, far below average. Now, I think, like most offensive lines, most it doesn't matter in the league. Most offensive lines have at least one guy who is like average, below average, and you can afford to have that. If the rest of the guys are competent, you can have one guy who's below average, whatever, because the rest of those guys are going to pick him up. And then once everybody is gelling, even the guy who is average or below average, he's going to be able to do his job just well enough to have success, to be able to move the ball down the field. If you have two of those guys and they're right next to each other, then you're going to have a lot of issues up front, and that's what we were having those guys right next to each other, your center and your guard, be really two weak spots. When you get Cyril in there, it wasn't a weak spot. It was not a weak spot. They were able to create enough time for Justin Herbert, even on some of the scrambles that he had. Like, guys were picking up blocks, like they were picking them up. They weren't holding them for like all that long, but they were picking them up though. You seen, if you pause, go back and pause, like on some of the plays that Herbert made, second, third down, you go back and pause, you're gonna see a hat on the hat. Now, did those guys get away? Grenard and them, they got away. Yes, they did. But there was a hat on the hat, and when you have a hat on the hat, and you see that, and especially Herbert, when he sees that, you can tell that he's seeing that, and even when the pressure is coming, then that kind of creates like some lanes for him to move around, run, for him to move around, find somebody open down the field. Like, it creates lanes for him to do that. So, for I thought that they did a decent enough job for him to go and make plays. Like, it's enough time for him to make plays. He had enough time to make plays tonight. Yes, he got hit a few times, but it is what it is. It's football. This is going to happen. But they made enough. They had enough. They did enough for him to make plays, and then obviously they played really well in the run game. So this little formula they have right here, this could work. This could work, especially if the defense plays the way that they did tonight. So I Becton out of the lineup again, addition by subtraction. I'm already excited for that. I don't need nothing else. I don't need anything else. I'm excited about that because there's potential there. There's potential there because he was an albatross, and it looks like the Chargers might have found something. Is Disley done? Fisk is younger and a great blocker. Disley should be done. Disley shouldn't even be on our roster. Disley does nothing well. He doesn't block well. He doesn't run routes well. His hands suck. He has to be one of the worst football players in the league. I've said this since last year. I don't know why he was on our roster. This guy is not good. Not good. He wasn't good in Seattle either, so I have no idea. He's another guy who's stealing money. That's why I was just going off a couple weeks ago. I didn't think the Chargers were serious because on opening day, you got Bradley Bozeman starting the center. Your starting tight end is Will Disley. These are two of the worst players in the league at their positions. And you expect to go out and beat the Kansas City Chiefs and, knock them off throughout the season so you can win the AFC West? There's no way. There's absolutely no way that was going to happen. So, yeah, I hope Disley's done. Again, he's another guy that I hope I never see in the Charger uniform again. He doesn't do anything. He's just not. What does he do? What great thing does he do? The tight end room coming into the season, it looked like we had the worst tight end room. Gatson has come out and he separated himself, and he looks like not just he looks like one of the best tight ends already, like one of the best pass catching tight ends in the league right now. Just based on what he's able to do down the field, he's not catching little passes 5-6 yards. He's running routes. He's running post routes. He's running like those dig routes. He's running everything. He's getting open, and then when he gets open and catches the ball, he has some run after the catch ability too. So he looks like one of the best tight ends to me already in football. But what does Will Disley do? He nothing like that. What does Tyler Conklin do? Nothing. I think they put both those guys on special teams. We don't even see them on the field anymore. And for good reason. For what? They're just going to go out there and take up space and not do what they're supposed to do. Neither of those guys have good hands. The tight end position was a position that we were lacking in for a really long time. Gatson he looks to be the real deal. Has a legitimate connection with Herbert now. I'm excited about it. Very excited about it. Run game needs to stay consistent. Yes, definitely. Mickens is pretty good. I like Mickens. He's pretty good. He played a lot of football in college. I watched a lot of him at Clemson, the University of Clemson. He was pretty good, and he was thought of as one of the better safeties in the ACC in the conference. So him being able to make some plays out there doesn't surprise me at all because he did it in college, did a lot of it in college. Becton looks so out of shape because he is out of shape, very out of shape. What do you think of Sorrell? Look better at guard and offense than offense and attempts? Yes, he did look a lot better at guard. He looked more natural too, and because he has tackle experience, he looked very nimble on his feet, and that's what I said. Like him getting up to the second level, I think it made the difference. And when you watched it, when you watched the line, it jumped out to you. From watching the line with Becton in there to watching it with Cyril in there, it jumped out to you. He looked really, really good. He looked prepared. And yeah, no, I hope to see him in the starting lineup going forward. I really do. Too many good wide receivers for KLS to get on the field. I don't know, man. I think at this point, like the carrying on with the Quentin Johnson thing is just it's just going to continue to like bring everybody down and take reps away from guys. Like Trey Harris needs more reps. I want to see Trey Harris. Quentin Johnston has, like, if a coverage is busted and he gets behind you, yes, he can make a play. But Trey Harris is a guy, like, if it's 3rd and 9, he's going to come up and make a big catch. A big catch. He's going to take a shot. He's going to get up and he's going to talk some shit afterwards. QJ is not that guy. And, like, he started the year off strong and all of that, but I that's why I wasn't one of these people who was like, oh, I need to apologize to Quentin Johnston because, blah, blah, blah. Like, those were a good 3 games, but the NFL season is 17 games. That's, what, 15, 16% of the season, the 3 games? Like, if he's going to be good for 15% of the season, I'm going to apologize to him? No. Like, that's not what good wide receivers do. Keenan Allen leads the team in receptions. And he was just in Chicago last year. Like, the Quentin Johnson has had the opportunity. He's had the opportunity to step up. He's had the opportunity to get better. He's had the opportunity to be what this team needs him to be at the X position, and he hasn't showed that. He hasn't showed it. He was out there getting exercise today. Did he? I don't think he had any catches. They never mentioned him once on the broadcast. So he's a guy, like, you keep seeing this. Like, you keep seeing this disappearing act from him. Wide receivers, good wide receivers, solid wide receivers. This doesn't happen. You don't just disappear. And it seems with the addition of Gatson in the offense, it seems like Herbert has completely went away from him, because now he's got a guy out there, a big guy, 6'5", 250, big guy out there who's able to catch the ball, make tough, contested catches, and run after the catch. So with the addition of Gatson, why look at QJ? Right? Why look at him? You know that he has a tendency to drop passes, and then you know for a fact that he has not shown the ability to make tough contested catches. That's just not his game. He's a finesse player, and if you're in a game where you need a play, you have to make a play happen, you're probably not going to go to him. And that Herbert has not went to him at all. So I think this QJ thing has to end. If we're looking to upgrade this team, if we're looking to, get guys maybe on the offensive line or whatever, if we're looking to make that push to be like contenders and we're trying to shore up a position that we need, QJ is a guy we should let go. We should let go of. He's not doing anything for us. Is there anything that QJ can do that Trey Harris can't on this team? I don't think so. If you guys think that there's something that he can do that Trey Harris can't, let me know, because I haven't seen it. Like, his consistency is not there. He's not able to play consistent at this level. And again, if you're just going to produce for a few games a season, what are we talking about here? What are we talking about? This season is long. He's continued to tail off. He hasn't been what the Chargers have needed. Again, Herbert has went away from him, and we can think whatever we want to think, but who is Herbert going to now when he needs to convert a 3rd down? Is it QJ, or is he looking at Gatson? It's not just me. We're looking at the game ourselves. It's not just me saying this. I'm not just putting it out there. It's not just me being biased. Look at 10. 10 is the one throwing the ball to these cats. So we got to see. I don't QJ is he's out for me. He's never been somebody who I thought was going to really work out. Especially once we got Jim Harbaugh. It's like this guy doesn't really have a spot on this team. Like there's never been a Quentin Johnston on a good Harbaugh team. Like you go back, if you want to go back to the Niners days, like on that team, who was the Quentin Johnston? There wasn't one. There was just players who made tough catches and were tough and stuff. There was never really a finesse guy. You go back to Michigan. Who was the QJ at Michigan? There was no QJ at Michigan. Like there wasn't that type of player. There wasn't that prototype of player like him. Like the guy who is just a finesse wide receiver, not tough, not being able to block, not making contested catches. There wasn't that. There's never been a guy like that on a Harbaugh team. So I never thought that it was going to work out. Maybe he can work out somewhere else, but he just doesn't work out on this team. And especially if they're able to get the run game going and stuff, like when it's time to convert on third down, he's not going to be the guy. Keenan is a guy that he trusts. Gatson is a guy that he trusts. Ladd is a guy that he trusts. And then if Trey Harris comes in, if he continues to play like that, like the way that he has been playing, if he's able to make tough catches, if he is able to block like the way that he does, like that's who Herbert's going to trust. That's who the coaching staff is going to trust. QJ's the odd man out here. So just because he has a first round grade on him or he was drafted in the first round, it doesn't mean anything. He's not producing the way that a first round wide receiver should. Thoughts on Matlock tonight? Matlock was okay, but I don't know. He's not a real fullback. He's not a real fullback. He's moonlighting as a fullback. There's only so long that they're going to be able to continue this because he's not a fullback. He didn't do this in college. He doesn't have the agility. He's too big, in my opinion. What is he, like 290 or something like that? He's almost 300 pounds. You can't really, like, your fullbacks have to be agile to some degree. Your fullbacks are a part of the backfield. They're part of the running back committee, right? Or they're the guys who can get the ball. Like, would anybody hand the ball to Scott Matlock on the 4th and 1? I know I wouldn't, because he's just not that. Your fullback should be a Lorenzo Neal. Your fullback should be a Bruce Miller. Your fullback should be, a guy, Vontae Leach from the Ravens. Like, that's who your fullback should be. It should be a guy who, yes, is big and strong, but a guy who has at least some athletic ability. And Matlock is it doesn't look like he's just like an offensive lineman trying to play fullback. He's doing a fullback impression and not really being a fullback. That big, and it's just too much. You can't be as agile as you need to be when you're that big. 250 is like perfect for a fullback. Like Kyle Juszczyk, he's big enough to get in there, make blocks. You could throw it to him out of the backfield. You can do a lot of different things with him. Matlock, you can't really, I don't know. And he's not that great of a blocker either. So Gaston looking like a top 10 tight end, better than Loveland, 100%. 100%. I thought Colton Loveland was wildly overrated coming out of the draft too. He didn't really do anything that impressed me at Michigan, honestly. Having seen Brock Bowers come out, right, having seen some of these other tight ends who have come into the league and have produced, the Sam Laportas, even the Hawkinsons. Like, you see a lot of guys come out of Iowa, the Tyus tight end you see a lot of guys come in from there, different other programs, Penn State, like a Tyler Warren. Like those guys are far ahead. Loveland, I don't know why everybody was high on him. To me, he looked like a 3rd round pick. He didn't do anything all that particularly well. Like, he wasn't super great blocker. He wasn't super productive in the pass game. Whatever. Let's see. Spook says, as much as I'm happy to see a good Gaston game, this win didn't really do anything for me. We're supposed to have these wins. We're supposed to. But, it's good to build this up. It's good to build this winning nature up, because we got this little mini bye, and then next week we go to Tennessee. And Tennessee, they just fired their coach. They got a rookie quarterback. They're in a mess. It's a complete mess. It's a complete shit show over there. So we're going to be heavily favored at Tennessee as well too. Being able to take this momentum, go into Tennessee, come out potentially 6-3. Um, at that point in the season, that would be amazing for the offensive line play that we've had, the inconsistent play on defense and all that stuff. If we in next week 6-3, we're going to be sitting pretty well. And going into some of the tougher games, like we're going to have some consistency to build on. So, especially if we run the ball well next week, then we're going to have some consistency to build on. Yes, the competition is going to get tougher, but building up that consistency, getting those good habits going, I think it's important if you hope to make a playoff run. So, you know, winning these, doing what we're supposed to do, definitely something I am happy with, and it wasn't a close victory either. We knocked it out the park, so I'm really happy with this. Johnson cannot be re-signed. No, he can't. He's trash. He's trash. It's done. It's done for him. They can say whatever they want. They can try to coach him to be whatever they want him to be, but if he hasn't done that by now, he's not going to. So yeah. Thought the addition of O was big. He allows Tui to rotate inside now too. He had another sack tonight, so he's this trade has already had him more productive than he was in Baltimore this year. He came over with 0 sacks, so yeah, his third game with us today. He notched his second sack. Good for him. Good for him. I want to see what he's going to be able to bring us in these bigger games, like when time is really when the time is needed for him to come through for us in like a bigger game against the Chiefs, against like a playoff contender. Can he get to the quarterback? Can he produce at that point? I'm really interested in seeing that. But I mean, some production is better than none, which he had none in Baltimore. So yeah, definitely big improvement for him so far. But I want to see if he continues to get up there, if he continues to elevate his game. And I think him being around Khalil Mack for this little portion, these last 3 weeks, I think it's done wonders for him. So if Khalil Mack can continue to work with him, continue to mentor him and get him right and show him the little things and you know all the little nuances to pass rush and moves and all this type of stuff. If he can continue to mentor him the way he has been, I think he'll be good. I think he'll be good in the long run. He said he was out there getting his cardio. Yeah, he was saying. Yeah. Joe Alt is a natural left tackle. We should put Slater at right tackle, which is his natural position. The O-line will be balanced and strong. They could flip-flop. They could, because we drafted him to be a left tackle, and we drafted the left tackle to be a right tackle. So, yeah, both of those guys are natural at their positions. I think Joe Alt is so his game is so smooth. His game is so fluid. He's looking like every bit of a Hall of Famer right now already. Looking like every bit of a Hall of Famer, and it's completely different. Like the vibe, the calmness out there when he's out there, you can feel it. You can feel it. You can see it. He got his ankle landed on. Somebody landed on it. He had a heavy tape job on it, so I don't think it did any damage. He probably will be sore or whatever. But with the more few days off than we have, he should be good. He should be good, and he should be ready to go. Let's see. Bobby Hart allowed 0 pressures today. Should we consider him starting right tackle over Pipkins? I think so. I think so because even looking at the tape last week, he was not bad. Like that wasn't the best game that I've seen, like from the right tackle position, but he knows what he's doing. And him just being, a guy who is new to the team, back to actually playing again. He hadn't started a game in 3 or 4 years before the Miami game. So him getting his feet under him, he knows what he's doing. He could be better technique-wise. He looks a little bit off balance at points, but he knows what he's doing. He knows how to stay engaged enough. So, yeah, I think if he's continuing to play well, I would, I would keep him in at right tackle. That's what happened tonight. You know, Pipkins was dressed. He was dressed. He was ready to play. If he wasn't ready to play, he wouldn't have been dressed. But I think so. I think you run the same thing back next week in Tennessee and see if he's able to hold up his end. If he is able to hold up his end, you got to go with him. You got to go with who is doing what they're supposed to do. We haven't seen any we haven't seen any play from him that looked like Trey Pipkins this year. Trey Pipkins has been awful. He was awful this year when he was playing. Bobby Hart hasn't looked like that. He just pretty much just came, what would he come off the streets or whatever, and yeah, it's like he hasn't looked like, he hasn't looked at all like Trey Pipkins. Like he hasn't, the silly goofy looking plays where he's completely off balance and all on the ground and all this stuff. You haven't seen that from Bobby Hart. You got to give him credit. You definitely have to give him credit. I got to give him credit. I wasn't expecting a lot from him, but I've been impressed. He knows what he is doing. He knows what he's doing. He's held up his end. He's held up his end, and you know, a lot of times he's not even getting any help. So he's held up his end. And in today's modern NFL with these pass rushers, if you're able to do that even just a little bit, you deserve some credit. So yeah, no, he does. He deserves some credit. He's done a bang up job. He's done a good enough job for the offense to be able to run, for Herbert to be able to sit back there and get rid of the ball. Like he's done a good enough job. So I got to give him credit. Alton Herbert got underrated chemistry. Yeah, they they do their little celebration that they were doing. I think that was like a Fortnite celebration or something. I think, I don't know. I'm old, but it looked like it was like a Fortnite thing where they're jumping up and down. No, they do. They got really good chemistry. Joe Alt is, man. He's every bit of what we expected. Like he has exceeded expectations. You could not have expected a guy to come in to mesh with this offense, to mesh and do the things that he's been able to do. Like you cannot have written it down. You couldn't have scripted it any better. Like he's doing exactly what he needs to do. And you know, you feel his absence. You, when he's not out there, you feel it. You feel his absence, and you're looking for him to come back, and you're hoping that whatever he's got is not serious, but you can feel it when he's not out there. But when he's out there, man, he's a difference maker. He is a difference maker, the definition of a difference maker. So yeah, no, he's got, him and Herbert got really good chemistry. I'm fine. Oh, excuse me. I'm fine going O line first round, but in the draft, regardless of how we finish, me too, definitely. I think we got to go out and get the best guard or center that's available. Connor Lew is I don't know if he's, people are still going to consider him first round with his knee injury, but he's who I would go and pick. It depends on, you know, where we finish and if we make the playoffs, and all that stuff is going to come into it. But Connor Lew is the guy for me. That's definitely who I would pick. If I'll have to go through the rest of the prospects and see who is number one on the guard list, but guard center has got to be somebody in the interior. And you know, Zion Johnson was the pick a few years ago, and I thought it was a good pick. He had a lot of good tape at Boston College, but now, like, if I'm Harbaugh, I'm Ortiz, I'm going to wherever I can, the best center in the SEC. Maybe, you know, I don't know. I don't know who that is. Alabama, Texas. I'm going to a school. I'm going to draft somebody on the interior offensive line who has played against some dogs. I want him playing against dogs who are going to get drafted, guys who are going to get drafted. You know, he's played against these defensive linemen that are going to get drafted high. He's played against these defensive linemen who are like well known and who have, you know, draft profiles, and teams are coming to scout them. That's who I want. I want a guy who's battle tested already. So when we throw him out there, he's ready to go. And I think, honestly, I think the competition that Boston College played against with Zion Johnson, I don't think it was that great. So I don't know. He seems to be doing okay now, but I don't know. He's still leaving a little bit to be desired to me. Herbert's mobility impressed me tonight. Yeah, man, Herbert is he's an athlete. He's an athlete, and he can pull that out whenever he needs to. He doesn't want to. He wants to play from the pocket. He wants to stand there and just deliver dots all day. But with the problems that we have up front, he can't do that every game, unfortunately. So, but he moves. He moves. He's an athlete. He always has been an athlete. I don't know if you guys seen those videos of him dunking, like easily dunking with one hand, two hands from a couple of years ago. Like he's an athlete. He's an all around athlete. He can play all the sports. So, uh, him being able to move, especially once he's getting out of the pocket, picking up speed, he can run. He can run. So, yeah, man, his mobility, that's really underrated about his game. How is Herbert still healthy? I mean, that he's big. He's big. He can absorb a lot of these hits, kind of like Big Ben. He's a way more athletic Big Ben, and not he's not fat either. He takes care of his body, so he doesn't have a high body fat percentage. So he's into his body. He lifts a lot of weights. He's strong. He's not a he's not a guy who's just sitting back there just taking a bunch of hits, and he's not gonna he's gonna move. He's gonna move around. He's gonna slide. He's gonna protect his body. That's what he does. So yeah. Let's see, we need the great center guards can be man between all three pros. I agree. I agree. And that center, the center of the future to me is Connor Liu. It's Connor Liu. He looks every bit of like a Corey Linsley type. He's a little bit bigger, but he looks to be in control of the line. He's very 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 aggressive, and he finishes his blocks, and he gets up to the second level. As good of a center as I've seen, and when you have a guy who is that when you have an offensive lineman in college who is that popular, you normally don't see that. You normally guys don't offensive linemen normally don't get big names until they get to the NFL. When you see a guy in college where everybody's talking about, and you guys are talking about him too, so when you see a guy like that, that's when you know. That's when you know you got to take him. So yeah. I don't know if you already talked about this, but there were a few plays where QJ was open but not looked targeted. Could it be possible Herb doesn't have confidence in him anymore? Q just being a team guy. Yeah, no, I think he is. With Gatson, and I did talk about this a little bit, but Gatson is a big play guy now. He's a big play guy down the field. So if you have a big play guy, 6'5", 250, a guy who can go down the field, make contested catches for you, and the guy who has good hands, he's going to make these catches. QJ's the odd man out. And again, Trey Harris is right on him too. Trey Harris coming out there, he's running good routes. He's getting open. He's blocking. You have guys that are supplanting him. They are doing things better than him, because if QJ doesn't get behind the defense and you're not hitting him for a big play, is he running great routes? Not really. Is he a guy that you can depend on third down? No. So outside of him having some speed and being able to get behind the defense, like when you're going to be able to do that at most once a few games, right? So if he's not able to do that, if that's not there, if the offensive line doesn't provide the time for Herbert to go downfield, then there's not really anybody, there's not really anything for him to do. You can't depend on him, and he can make a play here or there. But every time QJ makes a play, it's always a surprise. It's always a surprise. It's never like, we're going to QJ here. It's always a surprise. We're always like, oh yeah, QJ, that was cool. Like, but we don't expect him to do that. We're now like next week we're gonna expect Gatson to go over the middle, catch a ball, bam, 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 get like 25, 30 yards. We never expect QJ to do that. It's always just a surprise. It's a cherry on top. And if you want to be known as one of the best receivers in the league, you can't just cherry on top, So yeah, it is. That's I don't blame Herbert at all, but I think it's something that we got to look at going forward. I really do. I think it's something you got to look at. Maybe we trade him. Yep. Yeah, I think so. So I'm gonna go ahead and sign off here, guys. Been on for about an hour now, so I'm gonna sign off. I'll be back again making videos this coming week, so look out for those. And thank you guys for the support. And until next time.